What's going on, guys? Welcome back. We are in Season 4 now, and it's a big one. We've got Angela in the game and a bunch of balance changes that should impact the meta a lot, in my opinion. And some of these changes are much bigger than others. You guys will have to see in today's side-by-side comparison. As always, we'll be looking at the buffs, the nerfs, the damage, the healing. What exactly has changed now that we are in Season 4? Let's jump in. All right, guys, first up is Captain America. They'll be removing 5% damage from all of his abilities and his moveset. They're going to be removing that team-up anchor bonus, and for the most part, you shouldn't feel this all too much, especially in low elo, but those min-maxers, the animation cancelers, 5% damage off the top will add up in some combos, but for the most part, like I said, the majority shouldn't feel a massive change. They're going to already feel like he didn't do a lot of damage, and I was doing a little bit less. Next up, guys, is Doctor Strange. And guys, the Sorcerer Supreme is going to be a lot better. I've got him in A tier a lot of the times. I think this is going to take him up the next level and threshold. He's used a ton for his portals, his ultimate, but now we've got his AoE pop. The Maelstrom of Madness is going to go from 8 seconds down to 6 seconds. This is a great finisher, a good way to be an offense, just pushing Vanguard. He has great survivability to begin with. They are going to remove 25 health from him. But overall, I think this is definitely worth the trade-off. And now you have this perfect balanced wizard that's going to be good at surviving, but also lethal on the attack. All right, next up, guys, is Emma Frost. White Queen is going to get some changes. I wouldn't say they're massive, but let's start with the bigger one. Now, I didn't have a buddy to film some of these in the test server, so I don't have a side-by-side for this exact example. But they will be reducing her telepathic pulse energy gained when hitting shields by half. And I can say this is definitely going to be felt. I did do one live game where I was able to farm off a little bit of a Doctor Strange shield. And yeah, half is a big chunk. You'll still be rewarded from, farming off of just enemies and even deployables. But when it comes to shields, it will be a bit tougher. And that's where she got a lot of her charge in that neutral game. Now, in addition to this, her diamond form is also getting a nerf. And so you'll have to be a bit more deliberate when you want to activate diamond form. It's going to go from a 15-second cooldown up to 18 seconds. Next up, we got Peni Parker, guys. And this one is definitely a big one. I think this is going to really amp up low elo. In fact, I would say the majority of low elo heroes got a whole lot scarier, and it starts with Penny. Her spider drones gain a new effect that can slow hit enemies by 8% of their movement for 2 seconds, and each hit stacks the effect and resets the slow period, stacking up to 40%. This is going to be massive for those dive heroes. This is going to be great when everybody's stuck on the point and trying to cap it, and you've got your ult to stall. This gives her reason to ult some of the time because, well, any boost to this ult was well needed. In addition to this, the spider drones during the ultimate will be released a bit faster. They were released every 0.7 seconds. Now it'll be 0.5 seconds. Again, I think this is a pretty niche change in some elos, but in others, this is going to be big. And then for the Vanguards, we end on Thor. The God of Thunder, guys, is finally getting a boost in his ultimate. First up, they'll be increasing the movement speed from the ultimate from 600 to 700. Not always the most noticeable thing, but you should feel a little bit of a difference to close the gap on moving targets, which is way more important now, as you guys can see, because he can stun when he lands his ultimate ability. Not so crazy to look at here on side-by-side examples, but definitely going to be felt in-game. You're still in harm's way. There are still things you're going to have to work around. But with Angela, I think this guy's going to be an absolute demon. All right, let's turn our sights to the duelist now, and T'Challa is going to get some nerfs. Now, first of all, guys, his base health is going to go from 300 to 275. You can see this both in the example of that and his dash, because his bonus health when he's going to be doing his dash on marked enemies is going to go down from 30 to 25. You put this all together, and he's definitely losing some of that survivability. He will, however, if you saw my last video, gain the team-up of the Gamma Shield when he's in low health, so he does have that to compensate. And I have to say, some team-ups don't always work together, but the Hulk and Black Panther, you could definitely see a world where they can be played together. All right, move on to the Daywalker. Blade is going to get an increase on his sword damage per single slash from 22 to 24. And when it comes to, his normal ancestral sword attack, you're not going to see a major difference here, but when he activates his Bloodline Awakening, this is when things start to get a lot better and he starts to really stack this thing up. So for the 20 of you guys that main Blade, this should feel a lot better, turning him from the shotgun guy to actual Blade. All right, next up is Magik, guys, who will be losing her team-up anchor bonus, 15% damage boost off the top. But they did kind of pad the stats in a good majority of her abilities, and she's actually getting a whole lot better. Dare I say, she might even be meta in both pro and regular play. Now, first up, guys, they did reduce the charge time required for her Magic Slash, the one you like to start combos with, or like to poke from afar in certain instances. It's going down from 1.8 seconds down to 1.2 seconds to charge the max slash. However, she will be losing anywhere from -6 to -13 damage overall with that damage loss. But with all that being said, guys, this is easily the best part of all of the changes done to Magik. She's getting a new effect on her Magic Slash. Projectiles now pierce enemies and reduce stepping disc cooldown by 1 second per enemy pierced. Reduction in cooldown is always a good thing. If you're using your portals and then you can do a quick pierce slash, you're going to get one of those portals right back, which can allow you to do extra damage or use it to try to escape or to be more nimble for overall survivability. Absolutely massive for her playstyle and the entire kit. Now, it says they'll be increasing Soul Sword damage from 65 to 75. Again, this is the same damage. You're not going to see a big difference here. Once that washes with the 15% damage boost loss, they'll be increasing the damage of her world damage attack from 45 to 50, but this is going to be a net loss of just 1 damage, so not that big of a deal. In addition, to make up for the anchor loss, they're going to be increasing the Demon's Rage damage per hit from 18 to 20. This is going to be a -0.7 damage per tick, so this will add up a little bit. Now, a big one, guys, will be increasing her melee normal attack damage. So the melee from her regular kit is going from 30 to 40. Overall, that's a plus 5.5 damage boost, which is nice. You use this in a lot of combos or to finish off low health enemies. And then we've got Darkchild getting a couple of changes. They'll be increasing her world damage, which is going to add 5 damage per tick, which is a pretty big boost. But overall, guys, her dash did get nerfed. First of all, the normal form, this isn't in the notes, but you just know it because of the damage loss, is going to lose 12 damage off the top and 10 damage when looking at her Darkchild form. All right, we move on to Moonknight. This is another low elo hero, but also in general, I think a hero that's wildly slept on, even in the higher ranks. I think this guy's always been pretty good, especially if you have somebody you can play with who's a good Groot or combo ult. He can get out of triple Vanguard if someone's trying to spawn camp you. But in general, this is going to make him all the more better. Moonknight now is getting an additional Moonblade. So not only is this going to help his DPS, but also he'll get bonus health as he throws these Moonblades out. And so this is definitely a huge change for the hero overall. And I think it's going to actually have him be played a bit more. He still has his weaknesses and, you know, hard counters, but people like Psylocke that did counter him before, they're getting toned down a bit, so this should be an overall big patch and W for Moonknight. Plus, come on, guys. Go Power Rangers skin on top of it. Just Moonknight fans they're feasted. Now, speaking of the yokai, we've got Psylocke here, and breaks my heart, but Psylocke will be getting a decrease in the retrieval damage of her Wing Shurikens, her main combo burst. They'll be going from 12 per hit to 8, and this is definitely noticeable, guys, and you're going to feel this a lot when you're trying to assassinate a moving target, and you don't always get all these stuck at the same time, and or just her overall lethal potential is definitely going to go down. This is going to be felt even more so because I think Emma's still banned, and so that team up is going to be off limits as well still. And overall, Psylocke is just going to be in for more of a rough time. Scarlet Witch, guys, I'm telling you, Peni Parker, Moonknight, and now we've got another low elo terrorist. Wanda's survivability and ultimate are getting a magical upgrade. So first up, guys, she can now be healed by teammates during her mystic projection. This is something I did not get on video. I don't have someone to heal me while I'm Wanda, but this is a big difference. This is going to really help not only a Wanda who's really good carry for her team, but just be a little bit more of that assassin Wanda rather than, you know, trying to be careful doing this form and then you're trying to get to the health pack and then you get, you know, sniped off or, you know, you lose to the dive character. This should help that much more. A huge increase to her overall survivability. But on top of that, they're giving her a nuke to her ultimate now. So Diamond Form, Emma Frost, you know, Monster Hulk, all this stuff has no shot because the damage is going to go from 800 to 9,999. It might as well say 9 billion. If you are caught in this ult, you are dead. And on top of that, she has a new effect that you can see here that now pulls in nearby enemies within a 15-meter radius that will just suck you right into the nuke. However, to compensate a little bit, they are going to be nerfing her team up somewhat as they'll be reducing her surge explosion damage upon hit from 12 to 6. And so It is going to be a little bit of a difference. You shouldn't see a huge mass difference, but this should help compensate a little bit of her DPS with all the other buffs she got, which I think is an overall W. If Strange is banned for whatever reason, or, you know, if someone doesn't want to play him, you're not relying on this team up as much because you have other things in the kit. All right, let's talk about Squirrel Girl. So first up, guys, her burst acorn damage, the overall damage from this attack is going to be going down by 10 damage. And so if you're just kind of spamming this attack, you'll definitely feel, you know, a good DPS difference. However, to make up for this, the hit damage of her Squirrel Blockade, her stun, is going to go from 35 to 50. So she is getting an increase in combo damage if you're able to pin down that dive hero or just, you know, finish off somebody that's a little bit weaker. And so that will feel nice to compensate if you can land the combo, or for those more, I don't know, skill ceiling or more talented Squirrel Girls. However, we got a big nerf. They'll also be increasing her Mammal Bond cooldown from 10 seconds to 15 seconds. So a big boost in what you'll have to wait for to get more of this ability. This will definitely be felt, I think, a lot of the time, and overall, I think, lead to a lot less play of her. And then next up, guys, we have Bucky Barnes, Winter Soldier. This one was awkward to show because of the mobility abilities, but essentially, let's say you've got a Rocket Raccoon or anybody, you know, Black Panther with a dash. These abilities, after you get hit with the uppercut, will no longer be able to be used for a full second. And so this is going to really help lean into his dive kit overall. And I think Bucky Barnes is going to be that much more of a snowball hero and one to fear. Moving right along, guys, we have the Strategist, and let's start with Sue Storm. Now, first up, guys, her ultimate, her Invisible Boundary, is going to be increasing the healing per second from 165 to 180. This is pretty marginal, but you will see a difference during some of those huge impact DPS moments, or if everybody's focusing one hero, you know, it should help that much more in the healing. But a much bigger change is that there is a massive slow effect when enemies are passing through the Guardian Shield from 30 to 35%, but they're also going to be slowed within the range of the shield by 20%. So this is all going to add up to a big slow, more healing, and more punishing for those that want to take the team fight inside the Roman Coliseum. That is your Invisible Boundary. All right, so Jeff, the baby land shark, getting a nice change. I like this one a lot. When he does his whirlpool attack, essentially he'll be leaving behind a healing pond behind him that will heal 100 health per second. And this is going to last for a whopping 8 seconds. So you can go off, do what you need to do, leave this on the point, leave this on, you know, allies that are about to, you know, fall or die. So you can help heal your team and then, you know, also be Satan's greatest soldier and throw the enemy team off the edge. Loki is taking a pretty big nerf, guys. I think this one will definitely hurt the God of Mischief. So his illusions will be doing 20% less damage and healing. And this is going to be felt in a wide variety of different circumstances. This is combining with the previous nerf already to his primary fire. And so once you start to put all this together, they've really attacked Loki here. And it's sad to see for the Loki mains. I think everybody else isn't too mad. He was definitely the overall best strategist by a country mile. But on top of this, they'll be reducing the God of Mischief's ultimate ability in the period that you'll be that hero, from 15 seconds to 12 seconds. You guys can see the time difference here in the side-by-side example. Combine all this together, and Loki's taking a pretty big hit. Luna Snow, they do nerf her, guys, even if it's only by 2 seconds. Now, this won't be felt. I think this is definitely, you know, 2 seconds doesn't feel like much, but if you're trying to compete for a point, or if you're trying to wait to use your ultimate, or a number of different situations, this is a good starting point. Hey, we're going to pause here for a quick second. And can I just say, can we just take a second? You know, you climb up to the top of the mountain and you never just enjoy the view. You're at the top, you go back to the bottom. Can we just take a second and enjoy this view of the Luna nerf? I don't know when we're going to get another one. It could be months, it could be a year. So let's just bask in it. Damn it, it's beautiful. Subscribe while you're here. All right, next up, guys, we have Mantis and her Nature's Favor. So when you get hit by Mantis, her overall movement speed is going to be stopped immediately. This was before this buff, and now when you get hit, you kind of gradually have this decrease, and then you start walking before you gain it once again. And so this will definitely be nice and felt, I think, across Mantis mains. I don't play a lot of Mantis, but I do know that this is a great passive that they love, and this should definitely just help overall slipperiness, as the devs put it. And then we've got Ultron, who, you know, I think they just kind of wanted to include him too. You know, I'm not saying this is not a huge buff, but you're not going to feel it all too much. You know, more heroes than you think get bonus health. You know, Venom does and Wolverine. But 125% damage boost to bonus health is going to be in his extermination. This is pretty niche, but there's going to be some times where you're like, okay, you know, thank God I had a little bit more damage. But overall, yes, this will have a bit more punch to it. All right, guys, that's going to be it for today's video. The buffs, the nerfs, good luck out there in Season 4. If you're enjoying the content, I'm going to make up a goal. But we want to try to get to 200,000 by the end of the year. 1 full year of Rivals and the launch of this channel. It's been booming. It's awesome. But it'd be cool if you guys enjoy the content. Hit the red subscribe button down below. Have a good one, and good luck out there. Happy Rivalry.